think my mom believed that you are just roommate.
That's how I was introduced, because Machi hadn't come out to her mom yet at that point. Yeah. So I think at first we weren't quite sure how to deal with that situation, and things were kind of awkward for a while, but we never really had a chance to, I guess, address the elephant in the room, so to speak.
Every date we went on was just our friends.
Play pool, play darts all the time.
I don't think we've ever had a date, have we?
No, and then suddenly he said, "Hey, do you have a boyfriend?" Right?
Yeah.
And then what I say?
What did you say?
I thought you were.
Exactly. No, you asked me, do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
And I said yes.
And then I said,
And you're like, oh, really?
Who is it? And you said, she's Japanese. And they said, oh, he likes Japanese. And then you said,
Oh, it's you.
and then I said, woo!
Because I went to a technical school for animation, and so they did this program where we could go visit some animation studios in Japan. So during that time I sent him a message. I was like, I'm going to be in Japan at this time. And he's like, okay, let's meet up. So when we met at that time, we went out that night for drinking or something. It was just us and one other friend. And then at the end of the night, when it was time to say goodbye, it was like really hard to say, like, why is it so difficult to say goodbye? Like,
なんやねんこれは
and we sat in the lobby of a hotel for about 5 hours, just sitting there, because nobody knew, neither one of us knew, like, the other should do, like, should I say something? But I don't know what to say. So we just sat there for about 5 or 6 hours, just sitting in the lobby until I told him I liked
そ
him.
の時タバコ吸ってて俺何本吸ったんやぐらい
Probably 1 pack.
2パックいたんちゃうかな
And we didn't speak for most of it, just sitting there, looking. It's so awkward.
12時45分やねみたいな
He was like, oh yeah, my last train is soon. I was like, oh okay. But no one moved, no one left. So we just sat
もう
there.
1時5分になったよなみたいな
We just sat there.
晩ご飯もう一回食べたいよなみたいな
We spent all night in the hotel until somebody broke down and said, ski.
そんな感じだな
We got married in my home state of Oregon, in Portland, and yeah, it was just a beautiful summer day, and
It was hot.
it was hot.
It was about a year after we'd been dating, and I was going to graduate from college, and I was like, so what do you want to do? Because I'm in America and you're in Japan. He's like, then his mom was like, well, you should just get married. And we were like,
しよう
should
か
we?
Toshi's father thought I took care of her in America. I looked out for her. I thought we were best friends. Da 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 da. We went out. Whenever he visited, we went out to dinner. It was just normal. We were friends. That's it. Nothing more.
Then,
And then I came to ask to get married. He's like, what? What?
the last day of his staying in Japan, my father said, okay, let's talk. He got the big Chinese, what is that, Chinese restaurant?
One room.
One room. It's usually like 200 people goes in there. But
One
there's
table in the middle.
the one table in the middle and the 4 chairs.
This is his friend's restaurant. So we sat in there for a good 2 hours.
Yes.
Sweating it out.
My mom's crying all the time because she said, I don't know what they are talking about. They are in English.
So I tried to use some Japanese and he said, do not use Japanese in here. Do not. He was just going off. So 2 hours probably, huh?
About. And then
I
I thought, no way, he's gonna punch him. And then all of a sudden my father said,
stood up. Exactly.
congratulations.
That split second, the doors flew open and beer and wine and food came.
That was my dad's thing he wanted to do.
You know, obviously, like, she's grown up in this culture where it's common sense to you cook this dish this way, or you cut this vegetable this way. And whenever I would try and cook something even simple like nabe or something, like I'd have to stop and ask, like, how are you supposed to cut this vegetable? Because I don't want to do it wrong. And sometimes I wouldn't ask, and she'd say, why did you cut it like that? And it's not, of course, like not like a fight, but it's those little things, like you realize, oh, I there's just something I don't know. I just have to ask, and she's been very patient.
Okay, one day, he was talking to my mom, and then my mom doesn't speak English at all, and they were talking like 30 minutes straight. Blah, 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 blah. So I started to listen to it, and then they were talking about completely different stuff, but they not
We were
okay
both
with it.
totally happy in the conversation. She was content, I was content, we had a great conversation until I found out we didn't actually have a conversation.
このタイミングでやっ
He's always like like his shoulders are moving. I don't know why he's all on the shoulders.
今から踊りますよぐらい
But his niece and nephew are used to it now because I hug them all the time. So they're like, you. I'm like, you give me all the you. But him and his dad too, does like the one arm. He's like, why just one arm? He won't give me both arms. I don't get it.
After the kids, it was difficult, but
Well, she wants to raise him one way, I want to raise him another way. And
I wanted to sleep with my babies in my bed together. He said, no, they sleep separate. I was like, why? That's the first thing. The first thing we got in a fight.
but now I like it.
His first complaint was that I didn't make a bento for him to take to work, and his coworkers were laughing at him because he didn't get a bento from his wife. His mom, because we were living with his mom still, so his mom made his bento, not his wife. And he was like, why don't you make my bento and then they won't laugh at me? And I was like, why do you care if they laugh at you? So eventually, you got over that. And
一番でもおもろかったのそれ弁当をやっと作ってくれて昼ご飯でどんなん作ってくれたらパッと開けたらサンドイッチの時に
当たり前やん。
僕らがご飯1個目乗ってておかずガーっていってんのかなと開けたらサンドイッチやった時
なんなん
人生で初めてのサンドイッチ弁当やって俺
なんなん
俺
だろう
開けた時になんか周りの一緒に働いてる人も「あ今日は弁当なん作って嫁さん作ってくれたんですよ」って言ったら「サンドイッチや」みたいながなんか唯一作ってくれて嬉しかったんやけどなんかでもそれがなんかめっちゃ未だに覚えてて嬉しかったんとその衝撃が
私作ったん
何回か言ってたらやっと作ってくれた
嘘
1回だけでも人生で
覚えてない
Being an international same-sex couple, I think we have some specific challenges, and one of the biggest ones is, yes, we did get married legally in the US, and we have the marriage certificate to prove it, which is great, but that doesn't mean anything here at the moment, and that's really, really tough, especially when it comes to legal things here, like visa status and things like that. So in the future, obviously, we really hope that Japanese law changes and that they can recognize our marriage. I think it'll happen.
In 20, 30 years.
You think it's going to take that long?
I don't know.
Who knows? We really don't know.
We have old conservative politicians.
There's a lot of that.
I think we are going to get married this year again because he proposed me again this year.
Really?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't say yes yet, but
Nope.
そうね。子供が欲しいかな。You wanna have kids?
You want to have kids? Not sure how many, but maybe 3. No more than 3.
Hopefully.
No more than 3. But yeah,
We're thinking.
we're thinking about it. We have to probably think a lot more than most people do. But
I want dog.
and yeah, we're getting a dog. That's exciting.
Oh, I would like to move to Vancouver and that's where I want to buy my house. I already looked at houses online. I'm like, oh, there's a house on the lake. I like that. I really want a nice big Western style house with insulation and 2 floors, maybe even a basement.
行くやったら西海岸がいいかなって僕は、なんかやっぱり日本からも近いし、バンクーバーはアジアの人がいっぱいいてるから、
You get your rice.
ご飯も
He's worried about rice.
ね、なんか
He wants
アジアンコミュニ
Japanese rice. He doesn't want American rice.
なんかこれで海外で農家してる人がちょっとクレームとかしてるのかな。
Maybe.
ごめん。
So yeah, we just really want to. I think once we get back in Canada or America, depending on how visas go, because that's probably the hardest part. Then we'll buy a house and maybe make a kid. Maybe. Depends on how he behaves.
Do you have any advice for international couples?
Don't do it.
I don't know. He's a weird case of Japanese guy, so I feel like
なんでweird?
like a lot of, because I have Japanese male friends, but they're still pretty conservative in a lot of the way they think. Like they would not probably want their wives to have blue hair or huge piercings in their nose. But I know at first he was probably not as open to it, but now he's just like, whatever, whatever you want to do, just I'll be fine. So look for that weird Japanese guy, maybe. Don't go for the normal ones.
I think you need a balance. Like it's a two-way street. So just because we're living in Japan, that's of course a lot of it's on me to understand Japanese culture, but we are in a relationship, we're a team, so it goes both ways.
Human to human. It's whatever.
And don't listen to what
No. It's possible. It's like good. It's happy. And then, international marriage, it's more like, oh, because he's American, because of this, we have this problem or something like that. Or because he's Canadian, we have this problem. It's not like that. It's like just human to human. Even the Japanese to Japanese, it has a problem. So it's just don't think about that. It's international marriage. That I will say. What do you want to say?
I'm done.
Yes.
This is the way it was on our wedding.
Come on!
Alright.
言われていいって俺それ一番恥ずかしいね俺全然ここやで、ね、すいません
When I fall in love, I get dizzy.
little by little, I'm losing power. Finally, like kind of right now here.
No!
In my image, like kind of it. I didn't mean to say, but kind of like North Korea.
No! He calls me Kim Jong-il.
No, occultly.
Or Kim Jong-un.
Kim
He
Jong.
says I'm a dictator.